Hello, my friends. Let's start with the fact that yesterday one of the mobile networks in Ukraine went down. Today there are already details. According to Russian media, responsibility for the destruction of the network infrastructure of Kyivstar was claimed by Russian hackers from the group Solntsepek. They infiltrated the network of the Ukrainian operator. And during the attack, the internal network infrastructure of the organization, which provides communication for not only millions of subscribers, but also the armed forces of Ukraine, was destroyed. Terrorists claim to have obtained personal data of the company's clients, full names, passport information, and addresses. Meanwhile, on the front, Russians have once again become active in almost all directions today. It's evident that they have been tasked with advancing and capturing as much Ukrainian land as possible by certain dates. Perhaps they want to achieve success by the time of Putin's elections. But whatever the case, the armed forces of Ukraine are doing everything to maintain defense. Let's start with the Kherson direction. Here, Russians continue shelling the right bank and constantly storming the village of Krynki, trying to drive our units out of there. However, statements from the Ukrainian side that all attacks are successfully repelled are confirmed by Russian war correspondents.
The Dnipro main military command is already seriously asking the question, in which direction is General Teplinsky fighting? Only yesterday we wrote about another meat assault on Krynok. And again, today it is the same story, again losses, but this time in the amount of 810 brigades. We will not disclose the losses so as not to please the enemy, and out of respect for our comrades, who are now dying on the banks of the Dnieper because of the general's order to destroy the bridgehead at any cost. But if this continues, then by the end of the year there will be no paratroopers or marines left in this direction. Any idiocy has its limits. Teplinsky's career is too expensive.
Overall, if everything continues this way, the armed forces of Ukraine will soon grind down 70,000 Russians concentrated in this direction, and the road to Crimea will be open. For now, there are no changes on the front line. In the Zaporizhia direction, Russians have once again started attacking in the area of Verbove. Intensified shelling is also taking place along the entire front line, but there are no breakthroughs in the defense, and the armed forces of Ukraine successfully hold their positions. In the Vuhledar direction, the occupiers were unable to achieve success near Vuhledar and in the area of Staromayorsk, so today they decided to advance in a new direction, with battles reported near Priyutne. In the fields, they are attempting to expand their controlled territory and push the armed forces of Ukraine out of their positions. So far, there have been no changes along the front line in the past day, and it's unlikely that there will be any, as the Ukrainian armed forces are successfully repelling the Russians in this direction. Shelling continues along the entire front line. In the Avdiivka direction, the situation is dire. The number of attacks has increased even more than in the past days, with 9 directions under fire. Offensive actions are reported in the areas of Novokalinove, Novobakhmutivka, Stepove, and Coke chemical plant. The front line remains unchanged here, but the situation is extremely difficult. The Ukrainian armed forces achieved successes here in recent days, so the Russians have thrown their maximum forces to reclaim lost positions. Intense battles are also taking place in the industrial zone. According to the latest information, the Russians managed to break through into Avdiivka, specifically on the outer street of the private sector. Confirmation or denial of this information is awaited, but it once again underscores the catastrophic situation, with the Russians relentlessly pressing with their overwhelming numbers. Here's what the Russians themselves are saying about this situation.
Extremely unfavorable weather conditions have been established on the southern flank. Snow and freezing rain, air reconnaissance equipment, as well as FPV drones cannot work to the full extent. The problem of icing does not bypass any aircraft. Adjusting fire is extremely difficult for both sides. Nevertheless, our Tigers managed to knock out the Kokla from the first line of defense in the area of Vovineyards to the south of the industrial zone, to occupy an entire street and reach the eastern outskirts of the quarry, as well as to clear the occupied lines on the outskirts of Avdiivka and strengthen positions. Kokol actively snapped back with cannon artillery fire, but not being able to properly adjust fire from the air and use kamikaze drones, he failed to achieve the withdrawal of our troops.
Overall, there is a likelihood that it's true, but let's not rush to conclusions and wait for information from the Ukrainian side. On the southern flank, the occupiers continue to storm the positions of the armed forces of Ukraine in the areas of Severne, Tonenke, Первомайske, and even Nevelske. All attacks are supported by artillery. There have been no changes along the front line in the past day, but the situation is extremely challenging. South of this, battles are intensifying on the outskirts of Novomykhailivka. Shelling without offensive actions is reported in the rest of the populated areas. Regarding Marinka, late yesterday evening, the Russians are once again claimed that they had captured Marinka. However, as always, there is no confirmation of this yet. Therefore, the front line remains unchanged for the day. In the Bakhmut direction, things are also difficult. Storms continue in the direction of Bogdanivka, Ivanivska, Klishchiivka, and Andreevka. Officially, the armed forces of Ukraine don't lose positions and hold the front line unchanged. However, daily reports suggest that the Ukrainian forces are forced to retreat, especially in the Klishchiivka area. It's challenging to verify the credibility of this information. Fighters from this direction report on their Telegram channels.
The situation is very difficult. They are pressing and pressing, gnawing meters. There will be no good news yet, but only for now.
Therefore, it's very challenging to definitely say whether there is advancement by the Russians. If there is, we will certainly see it on the map. In the Seversk direction, the situation has been successfully stabilized. Shelling continues, but no new offensive actions are reported. However, attacks have resumed in the Krymina area near Makivka. The shelling also persists, but the Russians are not achieving success. The front line remains unchanged as before. In the direction of Svatova, only shelling in the area of Berestovo is reported. No new attacks are conducted here, and the front line remains unchanged. In the Kupiansk direction, the Russians are once again storming Sinkivka and Ivanivka with artillery support. Strikes are also made on Kupiansk itself, but they have no success along the front line, so everything remains unchanged. However, Russia openly declares that it would rather invest all the money in war than in improving the lives of citizens.
Ну, слушайте, ну правда. 2 атомные подлодки вошли в состав военно-морского флота России. Ну что может быть лучше? Вот скажите, честно задайте себе вопрос и ответьте. Что может больше обрадовать русское сердце? Повышение уровня минимальной зарплаты? Нет, ничего подобного. Цена на яйца? Да, это сарказм, верно, вы правильно понимаете. Но я честно отвечаю, нет. Нет. Вот эти вот последние 2 года показали, научили, объяснили даже дуракам, что нет, что вот этот вот ложный приоритет, вот эта вот фальшивая жвачка со вкусом мяты или клубники, которую нам продавали, начиная с конца 80-х, про то, что рыночек порешает, про то, что главное — это уровень жизни, про то, что главное — это городская среда, комфорт, уют. А можем ли мы жить так, как Швейцария? Да не должны мы жить, как Швейцария. У каждого народа своя судьба, свой образ жизни, помимо всего прочего. Не надо никому подражать, не надо ни на кого смотреть.
Now that's all from me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.